Wall Street retreating Wednesday afternoon after a positive start. Well, our guest today has identified stocks of companies that he says will do no matter who wins the White House in November. Our guest is Dryden Pence of Pence Wealth Management. Welcome back, Dryden.
Fred, happy to be here. Great to see you.
Glad to have you with us. Now, before we get to the stocks, what impact will the elections have on the markets, regardless of whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump that gets to take the White House?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that the U.S. consumer is not going to stop spending. I mean, if COVID-19 could not stop the American consumer, neither can the president, no matter who wins. And there's certain things that people are going to do no matter what, whether it's you don't go to a store and shop only in the blue aisle or only in the red aisle. You shop in the human demand aisle. And that's where we want to focus, the no matter what people are going to buy.
All right, let's get to those no matter what stocks. So what stocks or what are the companies that you see doing well regardless of who wins the election?
Well, we think that companies that facilitate this retail trade and this activity of us doing things from anywhere. So you have Amazon, you have Apple, you have Microsoft, MasterCard and Visa, the technology companies that are facilitating the continuation of American consumerism. That is not stopping. And then if you recognize and look at going into this, so we were doing about 11% shopping online, whereas China does 25% shopping online. So companies like Amazon that facilitate that, we're seeing a change of adaptive behavior. We're doing more of it. We're going to continue to do more of it, and all of those companies are going to continue to see a demand for their products. And then when you look at Apple, I mean, people don't realize how big it is. Just its Apple store is as big as the entire economy of Belgium. It's like $518 billion. It's very, very large. And then Visa and MasterCard, when you think about, they are dominant along the payments process, right? So if you're going to do something online, you got to pay for it. And the way you pay for it is through those companies. And they have like 85%, between the two of them, there's 85% of the U.S. business, about 90% in Europe. They're absolutely dominant. So they're essential into this behavior of people doing what they're going to do regardless of who's in the White House.
And Dryden, is it safe for investors to pick up those stocks now, or should they wait for the PEs to come down a bit? Amazon's always high with 120 PE, and Apple now is high for its history. It's in the 30s, whereas before it used to be in the teens, and Visa in the 30s as well.
Well, I think the issue that we have is that you're going to have some volatility over the next 60 to 90 days. And because, we're going to have an election and people are going to try to handicap policy around that. You don't know that you're going to have a result on November 3rd or 4th, rather. So it could go on to mid-December before they get it figured out. So we think there's going to be some volatility here. And that volatility is going to create, I think what you need to do is take advantage of volatility, not be its victim. So I think there's going to be some opportunities. So as this volatility moves around with this headline risk, you're going to see some opportunities for people to look at those companies that maybe they don't have a position in, that they can begin to look at. Everyone's got to look at their own circumstance, right? But the point of the matter is we see some volatility coming, and you want to take advantage of it, not be its victim, but you want to be invested in those areas that as we get past all of this headline circumstance, that the consumers are going to still buy or use those companies to facilitate that which they normally do.
So tech stocks are leading the markets lower today, Dryden. Apple and Amazon among them, both of them down more than 3%. But you would wait a little while longer to see for more volatility before you get into that stock?
It's hard. It's always hard to pick a bottom. It's always hard to pick a bottom. And I think what's more important to think about is where you think they're going to be long term beyond this. So we continue to see some volatility, but it's going to bounce around in here. So it could be higher one day, lower one day. It's hard to pick. But the point of it is the long term prognosis is good. So we believe that consumer demand is going to continue on. When people have money, they spend it.
Consumer demand, regardless of who wins that White House. Thanks a lot, Dryden.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
Right. Our thanks to Dryden Pence of Pence Wealth Management. I'm Fred Katayama. This is Reuters.